Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the second episode for The Walking Dead Season 9. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on the possibility of Maggie returning next season in Season 10. Alright, and spoiler warning if you guys are not caught up for The Walking Dead, which is up to the Season 9 premiere at this point. So this one's been kind of out and around for a couple weeks now. I decided I'd go ahead and give my thoughts on it today because, of course, Maggie was a pretty heavy concentration in the premiere. The episode was almost, it wasn't entirely focused around Maggie, but certainly the climactic points of the episode there were focused around her at the end at the Hilltop and Gregory sort of attacking her. So I decided, well, let's do one on this one this week. It's been a couple days since we've done Walking Dead video. We did lots, around the premiere time, but then, I missed 2 days this week, so sorry about that, guys, but just tired and stuff, but definitely wanted to do at least one video today, and then tomorrow night, of course, we'll have the review for the second episode of Season 9 and all the usual stuff. So the prospect of her returning in Season 10, what we think about this, and you guys can certainly leave your comments below. How are you feeling about this information here? Now, it's not a for sure thing, right? And that's one thing I think we have to stress here. The story, so we'll read through Angela Kang's comments. She's, of course, the showrunner of the series right now and probably will be as well for Season 10 next year. But basically, none of this is guaranteed, right? None of this is 100% confirmed. But here's what it says, quote, I'll say first of all that we've still planned some more story with Maggie. Lauren wants to. It will be a little subject to her schedule, but hopefully we have her back next season, Kang said. We have always planned to have this great story with Maggie this season, and I think we promised something. We wanted to pay off that promise. We definitely have a very strong Maggie arc, as we've already started to see in the premiere episode. So she's saying here that Lauren Cohan wants to return to the role. She wants to reprise her role as Maggie, so that's good information to get. We didn't know that up until now. But then it says, though it could be her final season, she moves on to Whiskey Cavalier with ABC. Cohan delivered nothing short of her effort from previous years through her Season 9 work. And then it says, quote, Lauren has always been such a great actress for us, has done some spectacular work this season, as you've seen in the episodes, but also in the episodes that are upcoming, Kang said. There's just some stuff that just blew me away. I'm just a pure fan. I think that's been, again, it's just something we wanted to do right by that character, but again, it also opens up some interesting opportunities for other characters when that character is gone for reasons that will be explained in the story. That's part of the story going forward, is what's happening at Hilltop. How do people cope with Maggie not being there? Yeah, this one's tricky to say, like, how they're going to write this in to have her leave, because right now in the series she's basically the leader of the Hilltop. She's just hung Gregory. She's showing some, I would say some strong leadership, that's for sure, right? And she does have command of the Hilltop, and people are listening to her. Daryl's whipping the horse or whatever, sentencing Gregory to death. And I think everybody there basically respects her, short of Tammy and Earl, that were also kind of manipulated by Gregory as well, too, and him trying to seize that opportunity. So, okay, so takeaways from this one. It sounds like Lauren Cohan wants to return next year, but of course there's Whiskey Cavalier. We don't know what its fate is going to be. We don't know what her schedule is going to look like. And even though she wants to return for Season 10, me personally, I'm not convinced, right? So I hope she does return, and I hope this all kind of works out. But if Whiskey Cavalier does well and they want to do a second season for it, how does that work with regards to Maggie? What will that do? And then, of course, there's so many unknowns right now because this is the year of the biggest change The Walking Dead has ever seen, right? This is the year, and it's true that we haven't been. There was a comment here that I wanted to kind of add in as well, too, from Barbara Veer-Z, who basically said, hey, Trev, nobody's talking about Lauren Cohan's exit. And that's true, and we'll read the rest of her comment in a minute here, but that's true. We haven't really talked about Maggie leaving, and it's nothing against Lauren Cohan. She does a great job and everything like that. I think it's just because the whole situation with Rick leaving is so huge that when it comes to Maggie, it's not that nobody cares. Like it's not that I don't care that they're going to have, Maggie leave and then come back. Of course, they had the big Glenn death in the season 7 premiere, so that sort of adds even more to her story and puts even more focus on her because she's survived him, and of course there's the baby now too, baby Herschel and everything. So certainly it puts her in a spot where she should be one of the lead, characters in the series, right? But Rick is the lead and has been the lead since the beginning of the show. So it's just because timing. They're both basically leaving at almost the same time, it sounds like. Like, we know that Rick will probably be episode 5. We don't know exactly the episode count for Maggie, or at least I don't. If it's 4, if it's 6, whatever it ends up being, I'm really not sure. But that said, and how they're going to work that in to have her leave, because there is Herschel, and she does have a whole community to kind of lead here. How are they going to have it make sense that she leaves and goes off on some kind of journey or something like this? There's a lot of questions right now that really can't wait to be answered in this season and in the series, because I just don't know how they're going to make this whole thing kind of make sense and where they go with this. And if there's another time skip coming too, it's like pretty soon it starts to get to be pretty chaotic with what's going on and hard to follow. So as far as predictions go, I just have no idea. She said that they're going on some kind of journey or something, so it's like, okay, fine, okay, that's cool. But how does that make sense when she has the baby? Is it how are they gonna do that to where it feels natural? So let's see what happens, and let's give them the benefit of the doubt until we see those episodes, and whether or not it feels like it makes sense, or if it's contrived given the what the information that we know about the actress having to leave. And I've kind of felt like once she leaves and she starts getting opportunities for other series and other stuff, I'm kind of feeling like she's probably not going to come back, or at least I didn't think she was going to come back. So this is good news. I think it's great to hear that she wants to come back and that they're kind of planning on her returning. But I would not be surprised at all if this does not work out and she gets another season of Whiskey Cavalier, or she gets other opportunities, and then she never goes back to Walking Dead. I would not be surprised at all, especially if Rick is going to be killed off pretty soon and all this other stuff is going to be happening. Because we really don't know what the future of The Walking Dead is right now. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll add a poll here so you guys can vote in it. Do you think she'll be returning or not after this information's coming out? The showrunner says that she thinks she will and that she wants to. But me personally, I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, I wouldn't be so sure, and I wouldn't be surprised if she actually doesn't. So I'm hoping that this is true, and I'm hoping that this is actually going to happen, because with Rick leaving, any OG characters you can keep in the show are going to help. But with her, it's I just don't know, because people get other opportunities and stuff, and they think they're going to come back, and then a lot of times they don't, and that happens with regular jobs and in regular life. It's you always kind of tell your boss that because you feel loyal to them, so you feel like, I'll come back, I'm going to try this contract out or whatever, this position out, and then you end up getting hired full time or whatever, and you never come back. So we'll see what happens, but certainly leave comments below. Let me know what you guys think. And for Barbara here, I don't think it's that nobody cares. I think it's just that, with Rick leaving, it's such a huge thing that, the Maggie situation has just been, and also the fact that they're talking like Maggie could come back, and they're making it really sound like Rick cannot come back, or at least not as an on-screen character, unless it's like a hallucination, dream, or as a director, Andrew Lincoln could come back. But other than that, pretty much no. But with her, it's it'll be left open for her to come back. It's well, okay. I guess we get their condolences that at least Maggie can come back. But, it's just so overshadowed that people, I would say, don't care. But it's something that's not top of mind, right? Because Rick is going to be top of mind, I think, for everybody who's been watching since the first season. Then it says, I think that's going to affect the show so much on top of Rick and her exit is happening at the same time. It's weird that they're both happening at the same time. It's very strange. She killed it last week. She reminds me of Rick when he was in that mode. I would also like to know your thoughts on the writing, as I'm very frustrated with things I can't relate to, like Michonne being annoyed with Maggie, wanting to kill someone who tried to kill her. A lot of times. Gregory really messed around a lot. Maybe Michonne doesn't know about all that, about all the different things that he did there. And, I think it's just kind of a difference of opinion where Rick is kind of more relaxed with regards to, and Michonne probably too, because she takes Rick's lead with giving people a second chance, with giving the Saviors a chance. And Maggie just hates him because, of course, after Glenn being killed and then her having the baby on her own without the father being there, she's like, she's just had it, right? Whereas Rick is kind of like, well, you could think like Rick's lost Carl too, so in some ways you might think that he'd be similar, but he seems to be pretty optimistic considering, at least right now, considering everything he's lost as well too. Maybe, I guess after a point he just figured, well, he's done enough crying or whatever, he's going to move on and just do whatever. Cortex Flager Snaff says, Robert Kirkman did say at one point that Rick could die and the story would go on. However, this was in context of Carl being alive. So, yeah, this is not a new thing. Kirkman has talked about dating back to seasons, I want to say like as early as probably season 3 or 2 or 4, like somewhere around those first several, like not the first season, but the first several seasons, like 2, 3, or 4, I started to see interviews with him saying that Rick could be killed off and that he probably would die at some point and the series would probably outlive Rick. And I think he was referring to the comics mainly, and he kind of has a plan probably in place for the comics for that. But none of us ever thought that Rick would probably die this soon in the TV series in season 9. I think we all just kind of figured like they would figure it out. Whatever they have to pay Andrew Lincoln, whatever they have to do to get him to do the work, even if he's only in half the episodes or something like that, whatever they had to do, that it would make sense for them to do. Pay him like ridiculous amounts of money, buy him a mansion, pay for unlimited flights or whatever, give him time off, whatever, do whatever they got to do, write him in only certain episodes and stuff like this that they would do. But it sounds like maybe with the contract ending, he was really hard set on leaving, and maybe his family obviously would have had a big impact on that. So totally, I think we all get that, and these things do happen. And about a decade, considering because they work on it early and everything, and auditions and all that stuff, about a decade of his life, really, if you want to round it, he gave to the show. So it's not something I think any of us can be upset about. But with Kirkman, I mean, it's like he also said too that he makes more off the comics than the TV series. So I'm sure he cares that Andrew Lincoln is leaving. He's probably saddened by it and probably nervous to see how fans respond to it. But I'm sure he's done very well for himself off Walking Dead. I mean, come on, right? So he's probably sad about it. But at the same time, it makes the comics more different than the TV series, and it makes it more unique. And so long running, it's kind of like, which is the true version of The Walking Dead? Certainly fans of the comics have another feather in their cap to say that the comic version's better. The TV series was okay at certain parts, but ultimately people didn't stay around, and so the comic version is the more truer Walking Dead version, right? It was more, organized and kind of planned out better and done better, considering, characters wanting to leave and being killed off at certain times. Or showrunners coming in and killing off characters like Andrea last minute and doing stuff like that. So certainly comic readers have another feather in their cap to say that the comic is better than the TV series. Roger Rogerson says, really not happy Xander wasn't on Talking Dead, who played Gregory. Well, I mean, for him it's like, he was just killed off. And, his character, he played a villain anyway, so people didn't really like him. They're not supposed to like him. He did his job, but he's not that type of character where he's going to have charisma and all that. It's not like he didn't play Glenn or something, or he didn't play one of these characters that everybody likes. He played a villain, so, with that, maybe he didn't want to. So, so is what it is. And the last one will be from Adrian Willis, who said, the people writing that AMC premiere was the reason for the ratings drop are dumb. No way did 5 to 6 million people watch an AMC premiere, maybe 1 million to 2 million, which would still mean 7 to 8 million people watched it. All in all, it's still a huge decline. So yeah, there's no way getting around it. The Walking Dead has definitely declined in the last couple of years. Whatever you want to attribute that to, whether you think it sucks or it's just long running, or like season 7 and 8 were really not good, whatever you want to think, however you want to look at that, or if you want to look at it as technology and people streaming online or TiVoing stuff, DVRing stuff, however you want to look at it, it's up to you. You could say it's all the above. We're all entitled to our opinion. That'll be it for today's video, guys. We'll see you again soon for another Walking Dead video, and should do a review for Z Nation, a new episode of that. And then, of course, I got to get caught up on Better Call Saul. So lots of stuff to do. Let's see how much of it I can actually get done, considering my schedule. So if you like this video, please thumb it up below. I appreciate you guys watching. Look forward to episode 2. It's still going to be good. And we're still going to do our thing right through to the end. We'll see how this goes. I don't know. You don't know. Let's see what happens. So that's it for this video, guys. See you again soon for another. It's Trev saying peace. All right, guys. See you soon.